Aiden Caldwell always had a dark secret since he was a young boy, for which even the player controlling him never got to fully understand. The full game he fights this inner monster that begs to be let rampant, and your choices throughout explore those possibilities to an unfortunately small extent. By the end of the story, Aiden leaves the city, leaving behind the existence of where his childhood nightmares occurred. These nightmares were memories of the GRE experiments, or in his eyes torture brought on by Waltz, the main antagonist of the story. Throughout Aiden's childhood, he and many other children were tested on by the GRE and kept as guinea pigs for their own experiments, for which these experiments come into play later on, after Aiden is bitten by a Volatile when entering into Villador during the intro sections of the game. This bite slowly mutated Aiden, over time giving him abilities like a Volatile, while still giving him the chance to stay human. Within the city of Villador, a stock supply of a couple hundred special inhibitors can be found. By injecting them, Aiden shakes with heavy pain, and the more he intakes, the more infected-like seizures he begins to have. These inhibitors are spread around the city by the GRE, left in many of their abandoned labs and other places for many reasons unknown. As Aiden takes the inhibitors, throughout the story he begins to turn more infected like a Volatile, losing control and attacking survivors and anyone in his way. In many moments, Aiden loses control to the point of nearly no return, ending in many casualties throughout. The more inhibitors Aiden takes, the more his abilities grow. This is expressed in the skill tree for the game, where you can find inhibitors and use them to upgrade your maximum stamina or rather your maximum health. We also see the return of Waltz later into the story, showing volatile-like symptoms, which really shows how far the GRE testing has gone.
Run! He's transforming!
Waltz still retains his humanity throughout the story, but also has the speed, strength, and agility of a mutated monster on many occasions. By the very last mission, Waltz injects himself with multiple inhibitors going farther beyond what we've seen before. By this point, Aiden is able to handle maneuvering with his infected abilities, although he nearly kills the Luan in the process. During the final boss fight, we see Aiden go into anime mode and unleash his true potential, defeating the almighty Superhuman Waltz. And that's about the farthest extent we've seen their volatile abilities go. Like the first Dying Light, everything comes back to the GRE being involved in some way. But with Villador being one of the only thriving cities left in 2036, my theory is that the GRE was wiped out, and their lasting presence is the abandoned GRE quarantine zones, leftover inhibitors, and numerous bunkers and labs left around Villador. In the Banshee prequel comic, we can see the fall of the government occur, so it's more than likely the GRE collapse with them. I do find it a shame Aiden's infected abilities weren't utilized more throughout the story, or even in simply exploration or combat. I really would have loved to see more happen with what's going on with Aiden, but who knows what's going to happen next with the open-ended endings the game gave us. There may not be any more GRE inhibitors out there for Aiden to find, so that means Aiden can't use his abilities any further. We'll hopefully see in a few months once the first story DLC for Dying Light 2 releases. But even though we can't use the infected abilities often, with the help of mods we sure can. This mod, especially by Bub, allows you to roam around the city like a Volatile once using an inhaler, jumping great distances and killing anything with a single hit. You can ground slam, boost high, and overall move with more speed. Because of this mod, we can see these abilities with no rush of any story beats. Of course, I'll leave a link for it down below, but anyways, though, I think there's many ways Techland will take these abilities in upcoming DLC. I just hope they actually make a return. Originally, the idea for the game years back was the longer you stay out in the night, the more your volatile abilities would unleash. And it adds an extra mechanic to stay out in the night that makes it more unique, and gives players more of a reason to explore. Unfortunately though, after those ideas were expressed in 2019, they weren't really ever talked about again. And instead, if you get a red biomarker in the retail version of the game, you simply fall dead. There's been numerous leaks for future locations, factions, missions, but nothing about Aiden's infected abilities yet. But that's about it from me for today. If you enjoyed, feel free to like this video to show your support, and be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on the content. Thanks for watching folks, and peace.